Gentlemen, I think I've been splitting my firewood all wrong. I got onto some videos from Buckin Billy Ray. He's a professional logger and YouTuber. I think he's up in Canada. And he was showing a method that I had never seen before that looks a whole lot more effective than the way I've been doing it for, what, 40 years? So today we're gonna try that. It takes a little bit of, obviously it takes a little bit of technique that I don't have, so I'm gonna try to learn it best I can from what I watched on his video. The cool thing is that he, like me, burns the beautiful Douglas fir. So the wood that we split is very, very similar, so I think I can have the same results. In the back of my truck, I've got a really nice consistent sample. We got several rounds here, and we can kind of find out if indeed that is a better way to go, because it sure looks like it to me, and I'm excited to learn how to do it. I cut, split, and stack probably 5 to 7 cords annually. 2/3 of it I use a hydraulic splitter. The remaining I do by hand using one of these 3 tools. If it's really stringy and knotty, I'll use the big Bismarck, a big maul, which is not my favorite. Primarily the splitting axe, and I really like the short-handled lightweight splitting axe as well. It just kind of depends what you're doing. I don't know if any of these tools are suitable for his technique. He uses a lot of vintage axes, vintage splitting axes, which I have a couple heads, but they don't have handles currently. So until I make those up, I'm gonna go with these. So we'll try these all out and we'll find out what actually works best. These will be the ideal rounds to do this because they all came from the same tree and they're all pretty much free of knots and very consistent. So this should really kind of tell us what's what. Let's pull 3 of these out and we'll try each individual axe, and the goal will be how much effort does it take to have it. These 3 rounds are pretty much identical. They were all cut in sequence. So their characteristics are going to be pretty close. As far as I can tell, I don't see any knots. I don't recall there being any. So let's start with, we'll go with the biggest one, we'll go with the maul and see what it takes to half this. Then we'll go with the big axe and then the smaller axe. Now the method that I've always used is just either take advantage of a crack that's in it or split it down the middle, start working it. That's completely different than Buckin Billy does it. We'll go through these and then we'll try his method on the 4th one. So we'll start with the Bismarck. If my count was right, that was 11 strokes. Now watching Buckin Billy Ray's method, he'd have had this thing about done by now, and I've only got it cut in half. Let's go with the heavy splitting axe next for the middle piece. Oh, that's giving me all sorts of trouble. I've never had it stick that bad before. That's taking all the fun out of it. Well, the splitting axe, that was quite a few less strokes. What was that, 7 or 8? I lost track, but definitely less than the maul. But it really was a bummer the way that it stuck in there. It took half the energy just getting the thing out of the round. So let's move over to the short handle, the 28-inch handle on the splitting axe. Boy, doing it this way after watching him looks and feels kind of silly. Well, I'm surprised that little axe did so well. That really surprises me, how well that little axe did. It's with the 28-inch handle, at my height, I'm 6'4", and then you put boots on top of that, that's 6'5". I feel like that 28-inch handle is short. I'm like really reaching. A 32 definitely feels better, but it was a lot less effort, and I've always enjoyed splitting with this. I find it just to be handy and fast and pretty effective. Now let's put up a 4th round, and I'm gonna try to learn from what I saw in the video and emulate Buckin Billy Ray's method and see if that isn't going to be a big improvement over what we got going on here. But before we move on to that, that would have been nice in the lawnmower, piece of fence wire. Did you order your free gold and silver investing kit from our friends over at goldco.com? Goldco.com is a new supporter of the Wranglerstar channel. They're a company that helps you invest in precious metals. I just checked, and gold is close to $5,000 and silver is pushing up on 100. I'll tell you, gentlemen, inflation is going crazy, out of control. They've been talking about inflation's 20%, 30%. The way I look at it, and when I look back on what I was paying for stuff 5 years ago, it's 50 to 100% inflation. Tires have almost doubled. And not having access to cash, or not having control over your cash, where somebody or a government entity could just wipe you out on a whim, makes me very uncomfortable. I'll tell you a story. I was working with a church a few years ago, and they needed to pull a bunch of cash out to go down and build a school down in Mexico, and you had to have cash. It was a rural area, and credit cards were not an option. When we went there to pull that cash out, it threw up a bunch of red flags, and they would not give it to us. They couldn't understand, they didn't believe the explanation, and I thought, man, that really is worrisome. You got your own money in there that should belong to you, and you've got some government entity or a bank telling you that you can't have your own money. That is very, very troubling. Having physical possession of gold and silver is a great way to control your destiny and also to hedge against inflation. If you would like to look into this, go to goldco.com/Wranglerstar, and you can request a free packet that will show you what your options are. They can store it for you, or you can do like I do and have physical delivery of it and have it in your hands. It's a great way to protect your wealth in a very uncertain economy. I'm not exactly sure what's going to work best. I'm just going to go with the short one here. So how he does it is he doesn't try to split it down the middle. He bites off the edges, walks around it. You need to have 360-degree open coverage so you can swing in all directions, but he picks away at it on the outsides, and pretty soon it's done. By the time I spend 10, 12 times whacking on it to cut it in half, I'd see him pretty much had it all done by then. So what he teaches, or what he said in the video, is you have to, as the axe comes down, you have to give it a little flip, and that flip uses the momentum to pry and to pop the edges off. And I've never done that, and I don't know how to do it, so I'll just give it a try here, and we'll just kind of learn together and see if I can figure that flip out. Yeah, see, I got too close to the edge, and it glanced off there. It's going to take me a little bit to, well, my aim is not so good, to get the hang of it. I know you just got to kind of feel it, and I don't know what that... Oh, there, I felt it that time. So one whack, we got a nice crack on there, and I kind of just let it slip in my hands. I've already got two pieces. I can kind of feel it. I'm worried about it glancing. It's hard, kind of disconcerting. Look at that. That one, I got it. Yeah, the more I do it, I can feel it now. You just kind of let it loose in your hand and give it a little spin. Oh, that's unbelievable. It's so much less effort. Oh, that was my fault. That was a bad aim. Yeah, I didn't quite give it the flip. That's why it stuck. Yeah, that time it worked. Look at that. And this is me being a complete amateur. It's only going to get better. I'm feeling that flip now. Let's see if we can get that flipping action. As it comes down, you kind of just let it roll in your hand, kind of get it moving in the right direction. And the idea, I think, is to pop that off of there. Yeah, I didn't flip it very good there. There you go. Look at that. That just popped right off there. There's definitely a technique to it. There, we got one too. That's 2 strikes, 2 pieces off of it already. Yeah, now I'm feeling it. Once you get this down, it's like every hit, you get a piece of wood. Now we're getting somewhere. I see the light. Look at that. Huge difference. Well, I have to say, gentlemen, I am 100% convinced that this is probably half the work. You do put in the same amount of work, get twice the results than the way I was doing it, without a doubt. And that's me not really having my technique down. And I don't know that this is the best tool for this. I think a heavier 6-pound or so, 5-6 pound traditional, like vintage splitting axe on a 32-inch handle that's straight without this curve is going to be the thing. I see that. I notice that's what he uses. So I'm going to work one of those up and continue working on this. But what a big difference! And I'm really surprised on how much more effective it is. I knew it was when I watched him do it. I thought, my goodness, how come I haven't been doing this? So that's going to be the way we do it in the future. I'll keep working on this, and we'll get a proper axe built up, and we'll come back and revisit it once I have some time, get a couple cords split, and get my technique down. But I have no doubt that this is definitely the way to go, and I'm really grateful for him, for his videos, for him to show that. I'll put a link to his channel, some of the best stuff on YouTube, if you want to hear real logging advice, and just a really entertaining, good guy, just a super solid guy and great YouTuber. I'll put a link to Billy's channel. Go over there and subscribe to him. I think you'll really enjoy his content. He just seems like a really genuine guy, and he has so much knowledge about falling timber, chainsaws, splitting firewood, and just the whole Pacific Northwest logging lifestyle. It's a great channel. So shout out to him. Thanks for watching. May God bless you and your families. Please keep us in your prayers, and we'll see you guys on the next video. I'm going in. It's starting to rain, and I'm not trying to catch pneumonia out here, so we'll come back out when the sun does. We'll see you guys on the next one.